So let's load. Oh no, let's make a new one. And I will call it Prakama. Save. Okay. I want to create minimal layers because I'm going to be doing my own stuff. I'm going to use the drag slider for the number editing. And yeah. Let's pump up the UI scale a little bit as well. Cool. So, first layer. That is going to be legs. Import the leg sprite. That's quite large, so I'm going to scale the canvas down. Done. Make sure I save when I get something I like. Cool, so I'm going to totally have everything completely stationary for now. New layer, that is... I'm actually going to make it the... No, I'll stick with it in the order I've got it in my document. So this is upper arm. Select. And I want upper L. Select. Oh no, I don't actually. That's actually want this to be lower R. There. What's next? Jackie background. I'm going to call it torso in the actual layer set. And this one's going to motion inherit off the torso. Oh no, motion inherit off arm upper R. Arm upper R is going to inherit off of torso. Save. Neck and shoulders. And that will inherit off of torso as well. Then we want jaw right. Select. That's going to inherit off of the head when we get there. Jaw front. Actually, jaw front should be above jaw left, but I'll fix that in a second. Jaw left. Sorry, I don't know why I'm having to lean over so much because my keyboard is off center because I moved it so that I could use my tablet at the same time, but I don't need to do that anymore. So right, so I want jaw front on top of those Yeah. Now, skull. So that inherits off of neck and shoulders. Jaw of front inherits off of skull. Jaw left inherits off of skull. Skull, yes, hello. Jaw right inherits off of skull. Okay. Eyes. Sclera. Neutral. Select. That inherits off of the skull. Eyes. Iris L. Also inherits off of... Oh, that's going to inherit off of the sclera. Iris R. Neutral. Also inherits off of the sclera, and it will... I need to make sure these clip to the sclera as well. Which will be useful to us later. And now the outline. That also inherits off the sclera. Done. Save. Now, arm upper L. And that is going to inherit off of the torso. Arm lower L will also inherit off of the torso. Oh no, that will inherit off of arm upper L. Save. Jacket foreground, we get to finally fill some things in. Select. That inherits off of torso. Chest middle. It should hopefully become apparent why I've split the chest up into 3 different bits as well in a minute. Oh, that is going to inherit off of torso as well. Jacket chest L. Also inherits from torso. Jacket, chest, R. Also inherits from torso. Now the hair. Hair, brown. Inherits from the skull. Actually, let me just colour the skull layer so I can find it, because I'm going to want to find it. Probably going to want to find the torso as well. So just highlight those. Hair brown L. Skull. This one's going to be horn R back. There it is. Now we want hair purple low. Which will inherit off of the next one when we get there. So hair purple mid. And then hair purple high. Or hair purple top, as it should be called. Okay, so top inherits from skull. Mid inherits from top. And low inherits from mid. So they're in like a chain. This will be useful later. Then we want horn R front. Also inherits from skull. And then we want hair purple fringe. Oh, there you go. And that inherits from the skull as well. Save. And that is it. That's all the layers. So now we have to work out how to rig this so that it moves the way we want it. At the moment, all the pivot points are in the middle, which is going to be something to deal with. But yeah. Let's just get the ball rolling. So, let me zoom this in a little bit as well. Cool. Okay, so we have all of our layers set up. All of them are inheriting from the ones that make sense for them. Let's start with, so the legs are gonna move basically just on loudness. So do 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 do. That's okay. The soft fall is really high for some reason. So yeah, that's going to be moving up and down. I'm going to smooth the input on that. Let's have it roughly 13. Why is this track so loud? Turning that music down a bit. Yeah, so that's moving. Cool. I also need to turn my max level down because for some reason in this copy of RahiTuber the microphone level is really... Oh, it's because I'm not using compression. There we go. So yeah, that's... Even still. Okay, that's weird. I don't remember my current copy of RahiTuber doesn't... Yeah, it's using the same That's really interesting. So it's using the same microphone input, but the max level on my ED avatar is like 1.31. Crazy. Anyway, that aside, I'm going to carry on setting this up. So legs are moving, and that's moving everything else with it. Always just thought my mic was hot. Yeah, it's I don't really get why it's that's actually a different. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, so right, so I want to move the let's have the arms have a bit of lag behind. So lower R, upper R. Let's get the pivot point in the right place for that. Yeah. Just about there. It's probably going to be right. Maybe. Maybe there. Okay. So motion inherit. I'm going to put distance limit to 0, up the drag, and turn up the rotation effect a bit. I'm also going to ignore pivots because basically we have, oh yeah, so I don't need that much rotation effect. Let's go with 0.1, just really subtle. So essentially I'm using ignore pivots because we've got so much empty space in this layer that there's no way Rahituba can guess where the weight in the layer is supposed to be. So we're telling it ourselves. Yeah, so cool. So that is the upper arm moving slightly. Now let's move the lower arm kind of in the opposite direction, I think. So if I ignore pivots, weight direction, actually weight direction is more like that. Rotation effect, again 0.1, and drag up to like 90, 94. Oh, distance limit should be 0. Oh yeah, the pivot's in the wrong place. Let me put the pivot in the right place first. Okay, so yeah. So that's now moving in a slightly more sensible way. Although I kind of want the hand to mostly not really move. So perhaps I should not have, because this one's got the hand in the pocket, so maybe I just shouldn't have it moving. Oh, actually, tell you what might help is if I also turn on preserve volume stretch, and we're gonna increase the stretch on no, actually maybe I want minus, yeah. Okay, so that's less, it's not moving as much now, so maybe linear would actually be better. Maybe not. Actually, yeah, maybe if I just pump this up a bit more. No. Boop 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 boop. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's pretty much staying, that's basically staying put now. So I think that works. Yeah, cool. On the upper arm, I'm just gonna check the drag value on that. That was 61. Oh, okay, hang on. Maybe if I put them to the exact same drag value. Yeah, that's okay, that's a bit better. Ba 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 ba. Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of moving a little bit, but not like. Okay. It doesn't look too weird, right? It's kind of going inwards. Maybe it shouldn't be going inwards. Maybe if I. Boop 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 boop. Boop 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 boop. Yeah, sorry. Excuse my silly noises. I'm just my testing noises. Everybody has to do the testing noises. Okay, let's test this out. Doot doot doot. Okay, that'll do. So that is generally how everything here is going to go. That one was just slightly more complex because I'm trying to sort of equalize these things out so that the hand stays in the same place. But it can be done just with a bit of fine tweaking and adjustment. So neck and shoulders, that's going to stay put. The jaw pieces, right, so let's get the pivot points in the right place. So the jaw is actually going to have its own individual motion. So I've just unlocked it using the button there because it's normally, if you've got motion inherit on, it locks the individual motion so that you don't accidentally have more complex motion than you realize, sort of thing. But this is going to move with loudness as well. That is going to be no movement though. We actually want rotation. Is it? Wait, what the heck? Oh. I see. I'm using the wrong, this is on the wrong layer. Doot doot doot. Is this the newest version of the program? Yes, it is. Welcome in, Del Reader Mask. Yeah, so jaw right is going down and up now. I also want to do the same, so I'm unlocking the individual motion. Loudness. No movement. 10. Doot, doot, doot. Oh yeah. The pivot point. Okay, pivot point is there. So actually, I want this to be -10. Dun. Yeah. So jaw right, actually, I've got the pivot point in the wrong place for that. That should be like over here, basically. Yeah, nice. Okay, so, and then jaw center, well, front is also going to have individual motion, loudness, but it's actually going to be moving downwards, and I'm just going to adjust this until it gets to the point where it lines up with the other stuff. Do 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 do. Yeah, okay, so that is now lining up, basically. Cool. Okay, so hey, why is that lagging? Okay, so that one is actually it seems like the movement is out of sync, which is weird. Is it accidentally smoothing input? No. Oh, hang on. No, they're all on the same torque threshold. Oh, that's interesting. So, ba, do, 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 do. Oh, maybe it's just that the rotation effect is... No, it's definitely happening at a different time. How strange. Wonder why that is. So, ba 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 ba. That's really interesting and slightly annoying. Do 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 do. Yeah. Okay. I need to adjust these a little bit. So this one actually needs to, on the individual motion, it wants to scale actually outwards slightly so that it lines up with the jaw still. So if I'm testing that now, yeah, okay. It also needs to rotate slightly less. So if I do 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 do. Yeah, okay. Weird. It really looks like the front of the jaw has some motion smoothing happening on it, except it shouldn't. So that's weird. Actually going to tint this one because I should have shaded it darker. So that one, what does that look like if I zoom this in? Whoop. So that's talking up and down fairly well, except it needs to, I think, rotate less and actually scale downwards. So do 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 do. Do 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 do. Da da da. Yeah, okay, that lines up a bit better. So jaw left, maybe. Oh yeah, that shouldn't have been. Okay, so we want that to go across. Oh, hang on. Do 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 do. Ignore my silly annoying noises. They are not for you. They are for me. Testing. Okay, so actually that's going to be rotating a bit more. Okay, so apart from the strange lag, which I don't understand. Yeah. Yeah, the t-shirt is funny. Okay, so yeah, it's almost like the rotation effect is yeah, it's like the rotation somehow is happening one frame early, which it can't be. So it must be that the movement is happening one frame too late or something. That's really strange. Hang on. Wait. If I turn smooth input all the way down, It's still, yeah, still doing it. That's really weird. Okay, so that's a thing I'm going to have to debug. Okay, for now, I think I'm going to actually inherit this off of the other jaw left. So actually, I'm going to use this individual motion to recorrect the oh, I know. I bet I know what it is. It could be that the pivot is just, because of where the pivot is, it's just in a strange place. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so that's actually not going to move, and then I'm going to use the rotation on the jaw to just correct for the rotation on the left side. Yeah, that looks much better. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, let's say this is 1/500. Okay, so yeah, now that's lining up a lot better. But that's really interesting. So we've got a workaround here, so at least we have that. But I'm gonna have to look into why that one part was like delayed by one frame. Really strange. Anyway, yeah, so now we have a talking jaw, which was done by we added individual motion to each of the jaw parts, and we just had like the pivot point set up in the right place, and we've got rotation on the individual motion. So now that the loudness is driving the rotation of the jaw, which is making it look like it's talking. So I think that's gone pretty well. I think I will actually put smooth input on these. Okay, so if I smooth input there, yeah, I think that looks a bit better actually. So that's quite nice. Cool. Right, so let's see now. What's next? We'll have the hair. Let's get some physics on the hair. So hair purple top is the first one. That's actually going to stay mostly still, but I still want to have it a little bit of motion. So let's get the pivot point in the right place. That's about right for the hair. Okay, so all that's actually... Oh, not scale. All that's really going to do is, on the motion inherit, I'm going to have it just have a little bit of bounce. So have some drag on that. Doot, doot, doot. Yeah, and it's just going to scale it slightly without... I need to set the weight direction as well. So if I talk now, yeah, you can see it really gently. Let's bump that up to 5. Bump, bump, bump. No, even then it's still really light. I think this is the trouble with, if you've got loads of extra transparent space in your layers, sometimes you have to bump these values up extra high. But yeah, so that's sort of floofing the hair a little bit. For the other bits then, let me get the pivot point right for the... where is it? There it is. So the next bit of hair is going to be like here. That's the pivot point for this one. So the motion inherit, ignore pivots, weight direction is like off to one corner, and that lets us have rotation on the on the sort of up and down as well. So if I add some more drag into this, let's go with 1 rotation effect. That's kind of nice. Would I suggest minimizing the amount of dead space as much as possible? Yes, I would. I've kind of done this in the lazy way by essentially I've exported all of these layers at the full size of the document, which is not the smartest idea because it means that you're wasting a lot of GPU memory on all that transparent texture space. But it is the easiest. So it's sort of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, really. It's like if you've got the extra GPU and RAM space to spare, then this is the easiest way to do it. But if not, it is a good idea to crop the transparent space out, and then you'll have to position them correctly in this document here. I do kind of want to program a tool that will, like a plugin for Krita that can export all the layers at their minimum size and give you the position that they're supposed to be in, like write them all into a file that you can just import to RahiTuber. That would be ideal. I really want to make that kind of thing, but I don't think I have the ability to do that right now. But I'd love to do that kind of thing. But yeah, so let's have a bit of extra stretch on this too. Maybe some spring as well. Dud. Yeah, okay, cool. Bit more spring. Bop. And a bit more drag. Do. Yeah, cool. And then low is going to have the same thing, so I'm just going to shift the position of the pivot point to roughly where it's meant to go, which I think is there. I can't remember where yeah, that's about right. Maybe a bit higher. Cool, so that is also going to have a bit of drag. I'm turning the distance limit to 0 for all of these so that they stay where they are. But the drag is still needed for the rotation effect and the stretching. So, bop. Yeah, okay, let's put the... Hey Azura, welcome in. Nice to see you. You've caught me making an avatar. I do want... actually, let's have loads of drag and spring on this one. Boing. Okay, turn the rotation down a bit. Do. Cool. And then I'm going to put a bit of stretch on this one. Could encode it into the file names. Oh, you could, I suppose. Yeah, that might work. Interesting idea. I was thinking of basically writing a script that essentially exports a layer set for RahiTuber from Krita for you. That was my idea, but that would be... So, yeah, this is a commission. Yeah, we've got... this cool avatar here. It's not actually... The art isn't complete yet, but I can just export the layers over the top of the ones I have. So I'm just rigging this slightly just to get something happening so that we get a bit of payoff for watching me draw all stream. Use the same thing in a major World of Warcraft add-on for sprite sheet data. Oh, okay, that's interesting. For like writing the coordinates into the file name. Interesting. That's worth thinking about. Okay. Cool. So we got a bit of bounce on that one piece of hair. I think I need to increase the spring on this. Ooh. Maybe not that much. Dragon spring both, actually. So yeah, and then turn these things down a bit because that's now way too much. Do 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 doing doing doing. Okay, and then stretch strength 10. Do do do. Oh, minus 10. Do do do. No, not minus 10. Okay, testing. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right, but that's probably too stretchy. Okay, how's this? Ba 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 ba. Maybe 2 or 4 or 3. Okay, cool. I think I'm going to leave that part alone. Save. Must remember to save regularly with RahiTuber because there's no... Well, this song will be on my Spotify. Do 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 doing doing ba ba ba. Yeah, totally. Yep, for sure. It's part of the culture, right? This is now RahiTuber culture. We have to make the testing noises. Okay, let's get the fringe moving a bit as well. And in the motion inherit, I'm going to distance limit 0, dragon spring all the way up. So make that super floaty and have a bit of rotation effect and ignore pivots. Whee! Oh, that's rather a lot of rotation effect, so maybe not. Maybe... Boop. Yeah, okay, that's pretty good. Always send test videos to people of me going bark, bark, bark. That works for this one as well because it's like a dog. Bark, bark, bark. Oh my god, I just realized I forgot the ears. Oops. Well, I'll fix that off stream as well. Let's carry on with the hair again. Okay. This one is just going to be another kind of squishy style. All in one. Boop, boop, ba, 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 ba. Stretch, preserve volume. So, yeah, no rotation on this one. Okay, so let's stretch strength to like 5. How's that? Boing, boing, boing. You like my chat setup? Oh, thanks. It's the chat is using Slime 2, which is like a free chat widget that you can get, but I've also put custom CSS over the top of it. Okay, I think I need more drag. Do do do. Boing. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Yeah, that's nice. CSS is my favorite. Yeah, I love just I love taking stuff that already looks good and works well with OBS and then just like customizing the heck out of it with CSS. It's good fun. All right, so that's the hair physics done. Now for the eyes, we have got the Slera layer, which is going to be our clip layer essentially, and then these two are going to be mouse tracking. So track mouse. Ooh. Already that's kind of good, except I want that to be elliptical, and 50 pixels is a bit too far, so more like 20 on each, let's say. Yeah, cool. That totally looks good with use both your eyes. Yeah. Okay, so iris. So what I didn't, if you're just joining, so with these irises, they're mouse tracking, but they're also clipping to the Slera layer. Slera is the whites of the eyes, except they're not white on this avatar. So it's sort of the back layer of the eyes is... Okay, they're all hiding together, but it's the black part behind this iris. And I have the clip layer here set to that, so that it doesn't matter where I move the irises now, they can't... gosh, I really need to set up the other one. Okay, that's less weird. But yeah, so this is the clipping. Yeah, it's masking, it's clipping. Different programs call it different things. But yeah, so because these layers have that, the Slera in the clip layer, they can't go past, they're sort of masked to the opacity of that layer. Yeah, I guess masking does make sense as a good word for it, to be honest. But yeah, so now I can move and it follows. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Saving that. Okay, I think I'm going to put a little bit of physics on the skull, so let's put the pivot point in the right place for that. Also, the new, the drag version of the number editing is so much better for editing the pivot points, because you can hold the Alt key. So like that's the normal adjustment speed, and then if I hold Alt, it slows right down, and you can do really fine adjustments like that. It's so much nicer. Okay, so for the skull, I'm just going to have a little bit of rotation effect. And tell it where the weight is. So, yeah, maybe that's a bit too much. Hang on, it's also kind of, maybe the pivot point's kind of in the wrong place. How about that? Maybe this... Or maybe that. Yeah, okay, that's slightly better. But yeah, maybe I actually want it to oppose the direction of motion here. If I go with negative rotation effect, it's going to go against where you might expect. And actually, that looks pretty good with the way the head kind of raises when you talk. That's pretty nice. So I think I'll keep that. Cool. What else? Oh yeah, Booba. I'm going to set up that as well. So the stretch, so the pivot point is going to be like right there at the top. I've set these up on 3 different layers, so I'm going to have to adjust them all separately. But the main idea is essentially we ignore pivots, put the weight position at the bottom, no distance, so distance limit to 0, no rotation, but I'm going to do preserve volume on the stretching and have a fair bit of drag and spring on. Bump up the stretch strength to just see what we're looking at. Doot, doot, doot. Okay, let's put spring up a bit further. Doot, doot, doot. Yeah, okay, that's fairly good. Okay, so that's kind of happening behind the jacket, but now I need to adjust the jacket to match that. So I'm going to, oh my gosh, okay, I accidentally hit 69 on both the drag and spring, which is kind of perfect. Also pretty funny. So yeah, so with the left and right sections of the jacket, I'm going to put the pivot point on the point where the nice. I'm going to put the pivot point on the point where the jacket meets the other outline, because that's where it's not going to move from. So when I put the distance limit to 0, I go 0.69 on. I want exactly the same drag and spring values as the other one. I also want preserve volume, and I'm going to put this up to 10. So yeah, so that's now going to stretch, but it's not going to misalign itself with the other line art, and that's why I split these into separate layers, because you can see if I zoom in, you can see that the middle t-shirt layer is actually moving away from the edge of the jacket, and that would be moving the whole edge of the jacket, which I don't want to happen, and that's why I've split the jacket into 3 layers. So it just kind of works better when you introduce physics into the mix. So I'm going to do the same thing with this side and put the pivot point on the line where I want it to keep aligned, and then put my values in. Onto the motion inherit, and then it looks like it makes sense, basically. So yeah, that was the general idea there. Cool. So that's pretty much there. I'm gonna put, actually let me oh, that's too much. That's too much. Whoop. Okay, I think I'm actually going to put a bit of squash and stretch on the torso as well. The stream has made me feel way less daunted about jumping into RahiTuber. Oh, good. I'm glad. That was kind of my plan with doing the rigging on stream here, because it's not too bad once you get a feel for what does what. It's just that because I put so much like customizability into it, that means that there's a lot of controls, and you don't always need to use them all. It's just, it's all there for the people that do want to use them. So yeah, right, so I want to put a bit of squash onto the torso. Let's have linear, because I don't really want it to be stretching sideways, but I just want a tiny bit of drag on that. And obviously the weight direction is up from the direction of the pivot point. So the pivot point's here in the middle, and then the torso is above it. So that's why I've set the weight direction up. So actually that's already kind of squishing in the way that I think looks good. If an old guy with little to no artist skills can do it, you can too. That old guy's me. Aw. Yeah, your skull thing is really cool. You pretty much described me. Oh. Right, so yeah, I think. Oh yeah, I tell you what, I'll also put a bit of motion tracking on the legs. Whee. Oh, that's kind of cool actually. The way the head kind of, it's got so much drag on it that it doesn't really. It just kind of looks like the head is tilting to look around. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, okay, nice. I might turn it down slightly. Maybe to 30. So yeah. Cool. All right, so I think basically, besides a bit of extra tweaking, that is the rig. That's done. I haven't done any states or anything because I haven't drawn the other emotion faces yet. But that's going to be it. So yeah. I'm not sure if I did a very good job of explaining things in a coherent way, and I think it was fairly split up because my attention was jumping around in different places. But oh yeah, I forgot the blink. I never even drew the blink sprites. Whoops. So yeah, thank you very much for coming along. I will see you next time.